October 1st, 1993. Friday morning. Las Vegas Strip. An armored truck pulls up to Circus Casino. 8 a.m. Inside the truck, $3.1 million in cash, $100 bills, $20 bills, weekend money for casino ATMs across the strip, 3 guards in the truck. Scott Stewart and his partner sit in the back with the money. The driver sits up front. The driver is Heather Tallchief, 21 years old, 5'10", beautiful. She's worked for Loomis Armored for only 6 weeks. Scott notices something strange that morning. Heather's shoes. Not her usual work boots. Dress shoes. Elegant. Like she's going somewhere after work. He doesn't think much of it. Maybe she has dinner plans. The truck stops at the back entrance of Circus. Scott and his partner grab a bag of cash. They jump out. Their job: fill the ATM machines inside the casino. Takes about 20 minutes. Heather's job: drive to the front entrance and wait. Pick them up. Continue to the next casino. Simple routine. They've done it dozens of times. Scott walks into the casino. 8:15 a.m. He walks back out. The truck is gone. Six months earlier, San Francisco. Spring 1993. Heather Tallchief sits in a nightclub. She's at rock bottom. Lost her job. Cocaine addiction. Depression. For 4 years, she worked as a nursing assistant in San Francisco. AIDS, hospice, the height of the epidemic. She formed deep connections with patients. They died. She formed new connections. They died. Over and over. The trauma broke her. She turned to cocaine. Got fired. Now she's 21. Unemployed. Addicted. Alone. A man approaches her at the bar. Roberto Solis. 48 years old. Charming. Confident. Well-dressed. He makes her laugh. Makes her feel seen. Beautiful. Special. They start dating. Heather doesn't know the truth about Roberto. Nobody tells her. And he certainly doesn't volunteer it. Roberto Solis is a convicted murderer. 1969. San Francisco. Woolworth's department store. Roberto tried to rob a Loomis armored truck. The guard's name was Louis Dake. Roberto shot him, killed him, got caught. Sentence: life in prison. But Roberto had a gift: poetry. In prison, he wrote under the pen name Pancho Aguila. 5 books, critical acclaim, a fan base of writers and artists. A poet, not a killer anymore. 1991. After 22 years in prison, Roberto walked free. 2 years later, he meets Heather in that San Francisco nightclub. She's vulnerable. Lost. Looking for someone to save her. He's a 48-year-old ex-convict with a plan. Summer 1993. Heather and Roberto's apartment. Roberto shows her VHS tapes. Strange tapes, swirling colors, spirals. Like a tie-dye t-shirt, Heather remembers later. The tapes play for hours. Heather watches. Roberto sits beside her. She describes it years later. The tapes opened her mind. Made her more receptive to suggestion. Almost like hypnosis. A psychiatrist will later testify that Roberto brainwashed her. Overrode her judgment. Broke down her will. The prosecution will say something different. Greed. The desire to please her boyfriend. Nothing more. But sitting in that apartment in 1993, Heather doesn't question anything. She trusts Roberto completely. He tells her they're moving to Mexico. She agrees. They live in Mexico for 3 months. Then, Roberto says it's time for the next step. Las Vegas. July 1993. Las Vegas. A small apartment near the Strip. Roberto gives Heather instructions. Apply for a job at Loomis Armored, the same company he tried to rob 24 years ago. The same company whose guard he killed. Heather fills out the application. Previous employment: security guard for a Las Vegas art collector named Julius Suave. Julius Suave doesn't exist. It's one of Roberto's aliases. Loomis doesn't check. They hire her. August 1993. Heather starts work as an armored truck driver. She's good at the job. Friendly, reliable, professional. Her co-workers like her. Management trusts her. 6 weeks pass. She gets promoted to ATM runs, the big money runs. Weekend cash for the casinos. She's alone in the driver's seat now. No supervisor, just her and the money. Roberto knows the hardest part of a multi-million-dollar heist isn't the theft. It's the getaway. He rents a warehouse. Puts up a sign. Armored car servicing. He draws a map. Makes Heather memorize it. Every turn. Every street. Every detail. She rehearses it over and over. In her mind. In the apartment. While Roberto watches. October 1st, 1993. The plan is ready. Friday, October 1st, 1993, 7:30 a.m. Heather wakes up. Roberto gives her final instructions. Drive the truck from Circus to the warehouse. The one with the armored car servicing sign. He'll be waiting. Heather gets dressed. The dress shoes. She doesn't realize Scott will notice them. 8 a.m. She arrives at the Loomis depot. Climbs into the driver's seat. Scott and his partner climb in back. The truck is loaded. $3.1 million. Mostly hundreds and twenties. Friday, money. The busiest day of the week for Vegas casinos. They drive to Circus. First stop of the day. 8:15 a.m. The truck pulls up to the back entrance. Scott and his partner jump out with a bag of cash. They disappear inside. Heather sits in the driver's seat. Engine running. $3.1 million behind her. She's supposed to drive to the front entrance. Wait 20 minutes. Pick them up. Instead, she shifts into drive. And drives away. Heather follows the memorized route. Down the street. Left turn. Right turn. She sees the sign, armored car servicing. She pulls into the warehouse. Roberto is waiting. Just like he promised. He walks to the driver's side. His first words,
"Give me your gun!"
Heather hands him her service weapon. He tells her to get out. Hurry up. But he uses different words. Cruder words. She can see, he's panicking. They move to the back of the truck. Open the doors. Bags of cash. Stacks and stacks. They load the money into boxes. Roberto's car is waiting. They transfer everything. It takes less than 30 minutes. 30 minutes to steal $3.1 million. They drive to the airport. A private charter, already paid for. But they're not traveling as Heather and Roberto. Las Vegas Airport, private terminal, 9 a.m. An elderly woman in a wheelchair boards a chartered plane. A man pushes her. He's wearing a doctor's coat. Professional. Calm. The plane takes off. Destination, Denver, Colorado. Inside the plane, the elderly woman stands up, pulls off her wig. It's Heather Tallchief. The doctor is Roberto Solis. They land in Denver. Rent a limousine. The limo driver later remembers them. The old woman, who suddenly wasn't old. Who stood up from her wheelchair and walked away like nothing happened. But by the time the FBI hears about the limo driver, Heather and Roberto are gone. From Denver, they zigzag across the country. Confusing the trail, making it impossible to follow. They end up in Miami. Live there for a few months. The FBI traces them to Miami. Then, the trail goes cold. The last confirmed sighting, Miami, December 1993. After that, nothing. Back in Las Vegas, Scott Stewart stands outside Circus. 9:20 a.m. He looks around the parking lot. No truck. He calls his supervisor. The supervisor calls the police. By 10 a.m., every cop in Las Vegas knows. Armored truck missing. $3.1 million. Female driver. Possibly armed and dangerous. The search begins. The FBI builds a profile. Heather Tallchief, 21 years old. Former nursing assistant. From Buffalo, New York. Seneca Indian. No criminal record. They dig deeper. Her family says she moved to San Francisco in 1987. Lived with her mother. Got her GED. Became a certified nursing assistant. No problems until recently. Then they find Roberto Solis. Convicted murderer. Life sentence. Released 1991. Killed a Loomis guard in 1969. In a botched armored truck robbery. Now he's done it again. Successfully this time. The FBI issues federal warrants. Bank larceny. Bank embezzlement. Interstate flight. Armed and dangerous. They put Heather's photo everywhere. America's Most Wanted. Unsolved mysteries. FBI Most Wanted list. One of the few women ever on that list. The police fear for her life. She's 21. With a convicted killer. They think she might already be dead. But Heather isn't dead. (1994) Sint Maarten, a Caribbean island. Heather and Roberto arrive by plane from Miami. They stay for a few weeks. Then they fly to Amsterdam, Netherlands. Amsterdam becomes home. Heather obtains a fake passport. British passport. Name: Donna Marie Eaton. February 1997. UK passport agency. Completely fraudulent. But it works. She also gets fake IDs under other names. Nicole Marie Rieger. Myra Calandra. Heather Franco. Driver's licenses. Credit cards. Each one a new identity. In Amsterdam, she works as a maid. Cash jobs. Nothing traceable. June 1994. 8 months after the heist, Heather gives birth to a son. Dylan. Roberto is the father. For a brief moment, Heather thinks they might have a future, a family, a life. But Roberto is paranoid, controlling. The same manipulation that got her to steal continues. Gets worse. Around 1995, when Dylan is 1 year old, Heather makes a decision. She leaves Roberto, takes Dylan and disappears within Amsterdam. Changes addresses. Roberto doesn't follow. Doesn't contact her. Doesn't care. He keeps the money. Almost all of it. Heather gets nothing. She continues working as a maid. Raising Dylan alone. Living under fake names. Roberto Solis vanishes. Completely. No one has seen him since 1995. Heather lives in Amsterdam for 12 years. Dylan grows up. Goes to school. Learns guitar. Plays sports. Normal childhood. But nothing about their life is normal. Heather can't tell Dylan the truth. Can't contact her family in America. Can't use her real name. She watches America's Most Wanted episodes about herself. Sees her face on FBI posters. Reads news articles calling her a dangerous fugitive. The years pass. Dylan turns 10 in 2004. Heather looks at him and realizes he deserves better. A real life. Not this. Not hiding. Not lies. She makes a decision. September 12, 2005. A woman walks through Los Angeles International Airport. She shows her passport. British passport. Name: Donna Marie Eaton. She boards a plane to Las Vegas. September 15, 2005. Thursday morning. Heather Tallchief walks into the United States Marshal's office in Las Vegas. With her, a lawyer. She says 4 words.
I'm turning myself in.
The marshals are stunned. They weren't looking for her in America. They assumed she was still abroad. Or dead. Heather sits down. Tells them everything. The warehouse. The disguise. The escape to Amsterdam. 12 years in hiding. She left Dylan with friends in Amsterdam. Told him to practice guitar. Do his homework, promised she'd see him soon. Later that day, Heather gives a press conference. She explains why she came back. She's tired of running. Living as someone else isn't living. It's a mental prison. And a mental prison is worse than a real one. She wants to sell her story. Book. Movie. Whatever. Give the money to Loomis. Make it right. The FBI asks about Roberto Solis.
Where is he?
Heather tells them the truth. She doesn't know. They split up in 1995. She hasn't heard from him since. Doesn't know if he's alive or dead. Doesn't care. The FBI asks about the money.
Where's the $3,100,000?
Roberto took it. All of it. I got almost nothing.
March 30th, 2006. Federal Courthouse. Las Vegas. Heather Tallchief pleads guilty to 3 charges. Bank embezzlement. Credit union embezzlement. Possession of a fraudulent passport. Maximum sentence, 40 years. Her defense argues brainwashing. The prosecution argues greed. Loomis demands maximum punishment. Judge Philip Pro announces the sentence, 5 years and 1 month, plus $2.9 million restitution. Heather accepts it. No appeal. She says prison is freedom compared to 12 years of hiding. Heather Tallchief pulled off one of the biggest armored car heists in Las Vegas history. Not with guns. Not with violence. Not with a big crew. Just dress shoes. A memorized map. And a 21-year-old woman who trusted the wrong man. She spent 12 years hiding. 5 years in prison. The rest of her life paying a debt she'll never finish. Roberto Solis is gone. The money is gone. All that remains is a story. And a pair of dress shoes that Scott Stewart will never forget.